But the question is, where do you start? This comes from Kaylee. Changing up the clicker, changing up the clicker. Thank you. For Chris and I, it always comes down to these three things. We always look for three things in any property we judge for a Horror Nights Maze. It's always awareness, environments, and characters. And I'm going to blast through this pretty quick. But when it comes to awareness, what we're talking about really is, do you know it? And so popularity, the fan base, the box office, or particularly these days, is there a film that's releasing in the window of our event? That's what we're looking for. We have to make sure, I guess, know the property before we decide to bring it to Halloween Horror Nights. The next one, and speaking of awareness, this is kind of Chris and I's career with Halloween Horror Nights in one slide. These are all the brands we featured at the event, almost all of them, since 2006. And what's also cool about this is, since we've been doing Halloween Horror Nights, 6 of the 10 top horror movie franchises of all time, that means box office, we featured at the event, as well as the #1 rated horror TV series of all time, which is, of course, The Walking Dead. Now, when it comes to environments, what we're looking for are iconic sets, props, dressing that we can recreate for a live event. And this is a slide that kind of demonstrates that over the years. These are some of the many events that Mr. Williams has created over the years. And I forgot one thing when I was doing my brief. My mom showed me Frankenstein at the age of 4 thing. As far as life-changing events, I really have to say it was 2001. I'd already been working at Universal for years, worked at Universal Creative, designed rides like The Mummy, etc. But that's when I met Chris. 2001, we worked on a show called Special Effects Stages. It had a set called Creature Factory. That's when we started working together, and I was like, he's like me. And I always knew we would work together, and to this day, of all the art directors I've ever worked with, Chris is by far the best.
Here, real quick. When I worked in a project at the Universal Creative Chicken Run, you know, we had a little walkthrough attraction based on that, real small, real tiny. And so I had an office up there for creative for a while, and I kept saying to myself, who's this guy in the office with this big Frankenstein poster behind him? It was a time which I didn't know him at that time, but even at that time, incredibly passionate about classic monsters, and at that point in time, you know, he wasn't doing anything with that specific.
No. But we are now. The last thing is characters, iconic characters that can be brought to life with live actors, and that's one of the keys. And this is just a behind-the-scenes collage of many of the classic characters we've created.
Yeah, and you know, I'll just point a couple of those out that you can see, and I know that you're probably going to be able to pick all of them out. Maybe the middle one, Tiny, that's from House of a Thousand Corpses, but you know, most of these are produced through Boneyard Effects, Larry Bones' company.
Larry in the audience today. There he is.
So like Unmasked Jason, as well as way over on the other end of Halloween 3 Season the Witch, the Pumpkin Mask, Tiny, House of a Thousand Corpses. Oh,
Wolfman.
Oh yeah, Wolfman. And the Hostel. I mean, the Hostel mask turned out so great.
And we're going to show a couple images of that, if I get there. But really quick, we're going to take you through the process. This is Chris and I's process, and I should say that Chris and I designed everything together hand in hand, from the original idea all the way through to training every single actor that works in the event. And we always have done that, and this is kind of our process. I'm going to use Alice Cooper Goes to Hell 3D as an example of that process. And of course, it starts with the concept. And we'd worked with Alice Cooper the year previously, and I remember going up to Chris and going, okay, I'm going to explain later why this is really important. But Dante's Inferno combined with Alice Cooper, and that was the jumping off point. And of course, then we had to take it to the man. This is an image of us backstage at an Alice Cooper concert. The other gentleman is Shep Gordon, Alice Cooper's manager since the 1960s. And that's Chris and I going, so Alice, we have this idea. Alice Cooper Goes to Hell. What if we combined it with Dante's Inferno? And Alice goes, of course, that was my idea. This is really where it starts. This is what we call our Post-it notes. And this is only one part of the maze. But why did we do Post-it? Do you remember why we did this?
I don't recall, but I didn't either. I just think because it was easy to move them around and change them up a little bit, I think.
But basically, you can see what's going on there. Scenic, characters, effects, 3D notes because it's a 3D maze, and music. And when Chris and I start riffing on an attraction idea, we just start putting these up on the wall, and we start arranging, moving them around. And once we have a flow that we agree on, then we lock it down and move on to the next step. And that's visual research, and we both do a ton of this. And these are some images that we used trying to think about the facade for Alice Cooper Goes to Hell 3D, which we wanted to look sort of like a Coney Island dark ride. And you'll see images up there from Coney Island, but you'll also see this bizarre nightclub in Paris, it's the top row there, called Hell. In the 1930s, they actually had a nightclub in Paris called Hell, and that's the facade. And so that was kind of a jumping off point. And then I go off and write the treatment. This is an example, usually about 50 pages long. And this is the treatment that's actually about the facade. And not only am I writing down all of the creative ideas, but I'm also capturing the talent, the props, the scenic, the lighting, the audio, etc. And then I give this to Chris, and then that's Chris's jumping off point for doing the drawing package. And I think I brought along some early Chris sketches.
Oh yeah, that's just like a real rough sketch. You know, honestly, we're kind of at the point where we don't do a whole lot of like huge flow of full-blown, all this shiny artwork in a sense, We're getting like the general concept. So like from this point, we would turn it into a little color rendering.
Which I actually brought with me.
The initial idea and concept, there we go, where I would take and just do like a rough sketch, that's where I'm just sitting with John and I, and we're roughing it out and talking about it, and then I might go and refine it a little more. To be completely honest with you, we don't have time to do all these really nice renderings and then turn them around and show them to a bunch of people and get their ideas and notes and then read.
Because we don't ask them, actually.
We just do it. And the reason being is because we don't have time. We have, you guys see how much we're building and the quality that we're building and what we're doing. There's just no way we could do it, in other words, only in this way.
And then, obviously, Chris does the drawing package. How many pages is a typical drawing package?
Like 30 to 35, and they're like full-blown show set packages that have plans and details and elevations and windows, and everything is obviously really highly specific of what we're trying to do. You guys see we're trying to do film quality work, we're really getting close.
Now, this is a shot we took during construction of the maze, and then lighting. One of the things we spend the longest amount of time on, and we always crack somewhere during this process, there's always a night where I go, I can't go anymore, dude. It's like 2, 3 in the morning, and Chris and I are out there with our lighting designers, working endlessly, especially for a 3D maze. But this is a shot we took just before the maze opened, and then showtime. Mr. Cooper in front of the maze.